Hey everybody, welcome to the stream. Everything should be good. You gotta see here. Good, it is good. So, nice to have you all here. Been a couple weeks since I was able to stream, so there's a reason for that, and I will show you some of that reason here in just a bit. But yeah, I'll show you some great footage shot with the Inspire 3. For an upcoming video I'm making about the low light of the Inspire 3, which is insane. It's absolutely mind-blowing. So, if this is your first time here, welcome. This whole stream is just about us having a conversation, me being able to answer questions that I'm not able to answer on comments because they go by, and once I answer once on a comment, that's it. I never see anything again. So, if you have questions, ask in the chat. I will do my best to answer them. And we'll have a real fun stream here. I have my microphone put there. Yeah. So Mark H, thanks for saying hi. Sorry you can't make it today. Next time, hopefully. I will talk about the Sony A9 Mark III, which I am not, an invited Sony whatever person. I see lots of creators down there. I'm not one of those group yet that gets invited to those things. I wish I was, but I'm not. So, it is what it is. But it does look like a fascinating, incredible camera. It makes me excited for the A9 Mark II, or A1 Mark II. Eddie, what do you think? A1 Mark II? Excited about that? I'm sure you are. Although I'm not excited about the price. If the A9 Mark III is $6,000, that means the A1 Mark II is, I don't know, $7,000, $8,000? I hope not, but anyway. Simply Scotland Photography. Hope you're still awake. You made a stream. Congratulations. I know you've been trying for a bit. So, let's see. And Bredner, Alaska Filmer, H4 Services, Tech Drone, Gordon. Using the Pocket 3 today with the stream? No, I'm not. But I did last time I streamed, but not today. Today, and generally with the stream, I use the A7S III and a 24mm G Master. So, hey, George Kelly. Let's see. Ted, Gare, thanks for all you do. Wondering if you could please discuss the DJI Air 3 normal lens is absolutely the same stack sensor technology as the new Mini 4 Pro stack sensor. Thanks. So, yeah, we'll just jump into it. From what I understand, it is not the same sensor. I don't know why it wouldn't be. It makes no sense to me, but I have asked, and I've been told it is a different sensor. I don't know. But so from what I understand, it's not the same sensor, although it sure performs like the same sensor. But it is not the same, is what I was told officially by DJI when I asked about it. H4 Services, can you borrow my Inspire 3 for a couple of years? I wish I had one to loan. I wish I had one, period. I've been using one for the last few months. One was loaned to me from DJI for the last 3 weeks. That's it. Everything else I've used has been other work-related Inspires. And they have all been fantastic. And I really, really want one now because they're so good. George Kelly, let's see. D&D Aerial Photography, Raymond Toms. Good night, Phantom Flight 101. Hope you're doing well. Who am I, Carl's Corner? I'm me, Jake Sloan, the Sloan Ranger, as some say. Raymond Toms. Yeah, I know, right? Oh, yeah. Hey, Dewey and Eddie Nunez. Let's see. You're going to see it tomorrow. Got invited to the Sony Creators event. Oh, nice, Eddie. Actually, I think I did get an invite to that one, the B&H one. It's just, I'm 6,000 miles away. So I need to come crash on your couch next time and hang out with you, and then we'll go together. Hey, Steve Carpenter. You bet, Ted. Let's see. Carpal tunnel trigger finger surgery. Oh, dang, Briswiz. I hope you recover fast, and I hope surgery goes well for you. KSA, do I use manual everything on the Action 4, or do I ever use auto white balance or exposure? So generally, I don't use auto white balance because I do find that it changes too much in a scene. I will lock that. But I do use auto exposure fairly often, especially if I don't have ND filters. I'll just run it on auto because it does a pretty good job on itself. And same with the Pocket 3. I don't have ND filters for the Pocket 3, so I've been running that on auto, just setting the white balance for whatever I want it to be. Drone shots, Jenna C. USA Drone Flyer, Flying Filmmaker. Yeah, so we'll jump into the low-light footage of the Inspire 3 here in just a bit. But first, the A9 Mark III, if you're not a Sony shooter, this might not be of interest to you, but it is insane. Global shutter, it makes me want to buy one, but I really do like the 8K and the 50 megapixels of the A1, but the global shutter is amazing. That's an insanely cool thing that they've been able to come up with. It's amazing. And 120 still raw frames per second. 120 raw photos per second is nuts. And 180,000th of a second shutter speed. The whole thing is mind-blowing. It's an insane camera. Really a pretty amazing technological feat on Sony's part. It makes me excited about like what the next stuff is coming. Now I'm excited too that they're bringing focus breathing compensation to the A7S III and to the A1. Thank you, Sony. It's about time. Yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting to see all this stuff roll out in the next few months. Very, very excited to see all that stuff. Hey, 107 Drones. Big Water UAV. Let's see. Always invited. Thanks, Eddie. Yeah, who knows? Maybe I'll take you up on that one day. Jake from State Farm. No, definitely not from State Farm. You can rent drones. A lot of drones for $30K. Alaska Filmmaker. It's true. Although, actually, not as much. Like, if you were to rent the Inspire 3, it's $2,000 for 7 days. So that's 15 rentals a year. And then you would have bought it for $30K. Depends on how much you use drones, I guess. Well, that drone specifically. Yeah. I guess if I had the right job come through, I would buy one. I totally would buy one because it's a beast of a drone and it is a pleasure to fly. It's not without its quirks, and I got called out for being a DJI shill and blah, blah, blah on the Inspire 3 review. That comment has since been deleted, and that person's been banned from the channel because basically they were being a real person. But I don't mind criticism, but as soon as you start just name calling and calling me a shill and a bunch of other stuff, when I clearly said I was not sponsored, and I spent literally weeks of my time and probably at least $1,000 in gas to do the stuff I did with the Inspire 3 up here. Not just the one DJI sent me, but all the stuff I've done with the Inspire. For all the footage you saw, I spent at least $1,000 in gas. And I mean, at least a week to 10 days of time filming, editing, working on that footage. And then you're going to call me a shill when I don't get paid for it and I don't get to keep a drone out of the deal. You can just go, somewhere else. And they basically called me out. They were like, you didn't mention any of the faults, which there are a few faults, but I'm also not interested in just calling out faults. I'm part of the Inspire 3 owners Inspire 3 owners Facebook group. And not just that group, but many of the groups I'm a part of, like the A1 users group. I was part of the Mavic users group, and then I left for the same reason. It's so many people just bitching about everything that's wrong. And to me, it's like, yes, there are faults, there are limits. There always are limits to technology and tools that we use. At the end of the day, I'm more interested in what can it do? What can it produce? And whatever you have to do to work around those limitations, what can you do with a tool? And that's a mindset that was instilled in me many years ago. It's just, you want to sit there and complain about every little fault and every little limitation that you don't think a drone should have because it costs $16,000 or $5,000 or whatever it costs. That's fine. You can do that. I don't care. To me, I can produce incredible imagery and do incredible work with that drone, even with the very few or relatively few limitations that it has. So, yeah, I'm not interested in picking out all the little faults. Now, if there's a major fault, I will call it out. But everything with the Inspire 3 to me is an annoyance. There's no auto exposure bracketing. The way the switch works, which video coming up comparing the Inspire 2 I'll talk about a little bit. The way the toggle switch works to switch between like normal mode, sport mode, and tripod mode. There's a few things like that I wish was different. And like the auto exposure bracketing for photos, they could probably give us in a firmware update. But yeah. Anyway, soapbox off. There's so much crap and just total BS in those Facebook groups, and I see it coming through the comments on my YouTube channel too. And yeah, I'm not interested in dealing with that crap. There's a reason I'm hardly in any Facebook. There's a reason I'm hardly on Facebook at all anymore. But yeah, it drives me crazy. Anyway, so, and you can tell me I'm wrong, but as soon as you start accusing me of being of essentially lying to you, saying that I wasn't sponsored or paid by DJI, and then you're telling me I'm lying about it because, I didn't say all of the faults that you think are wrong with the drone, then I have zero interest in interacting with you online at all ever again. So there we go. So that's my soapbox for tonight. To me, I don't know. I learned the lesson early on when I was working in a recording studio, and I was complaining about the gear. I was like, man, if I only had this piece of gear, I could make it sound like this. If I only could do this, I could fix that. And the engineer I was working with is an old school engineer who was incredibly talented. He has like a, who's who of A-list musicians and singers from the 80s and the 90s that he worked with. I mean, the who's who list. And he let me go on for a little bit, and I think I was like 22 or something like that. And then finally he swivels around, he goes, a bad engineer will always blame the tools. A good engineer will make it good and sound good no matter what tools they have. And it was his subtle way of saying it's essentially your lack of skill and you are blaming the tools because you have a lack of skill. Whereas somebody with the skill could literally take a lunchbox piece of sound equipment and make it sound good. So shut up. And that was lesson learned. From then on, it was like, okay, it's not about the tools. The tools make it easier. Sometimes the tools make it harder, but it's not about the tools that is your limitation. It is 100% your skill set and your ability to utilize that tool in whatever way you can to make something great with it. So there we go. What's the who's who? He didn't. I don't think he actually worked with the Who. He did work with Jacksons, the Jacksons, the Jackson 5, and Smokey Robinson, Bonnie Raitt, Sly Stone. Let's see, who else? Crap, what was that really great singer's name? Anyway, it just, there we go. There. And, he produced things like the Garfield Christmas special and the Peanuts. He worked on some of the Peanuts stuff. He worked on some big name movies. Somebody that had the credits to back up what he was saying, basically, and the skill set to back up what he was saying. So, Gordon, I do like that question. It's a great question. So what cameras for budget stuff? Gordon, what is your budget? Let me know your budget, because that heavily influences what I recommend. If you have a budget in mind, tell me that, and I will try and answer you. Okay, so the A9 Mark III, insane camera. Sony is, it just is mind-blowing what Sony's doing with mirrorless cameras. And, well, if I can get my hands on one, I'll probably have to wait till they're available for rent for everybody, because for whatever reason, the last 7 emails I've sent to the people that I was working with that could get me early access to Sony gear, sometimes loaners, they've stopped talking to me I don't know why. I can't get any response. So, but I will be doing a review on it. I will also be doing a review on, crap, it's over there somewhere. The Tamron 17-50. I've had that for a bit now. It's great. I did just have an A7C Mark II with me for this trip up in the Arctic, which was actually a really great camera, and even like good enough to the point where I was like, crap, I might want to buy this thing. It was really, really good, really useful, really small. It has its limitations, but especially in photo work. But it does take great photos, and it takes great video, and it's really small and easy to use, which I like small and easy to use. Okay, so while we talk more about stuff and I answer questions, I'm going to show you first. This is a photo taken with the Inspire 3 at 2:30 a.m. about 120 miles north of the Arctic Circle. And yeah, so again, why people complain about the limitations of the Inspire 3, I go out there and do stuff like this with it. So, you know, there you go. That is, yeah, you can, I mean, it's insane. You can see stars. It almost looks like a DSLR picture. It's nuts. So now, photos are one thing. You can do a lot with photos because you can change the shutter speed down to, you know, seconds, multiple seconds. Like I think that was 4 seconds or 3 second exposure with a fairly high ISO. But that's one thing. The big catch is video. When you can't lower the shutter speed, you know, to multiple seconds, and you have to keep the shutter speed at least the same as your frame rate. And I've got a whole video coming, probably next week or the week after that, where I talk about working with the extremely low light ability and in the Inspire 3, which is mind-blowing, which is a huge reason I want one, is because it's just the most insane low light of any drone I've ever worked with. It's nuts. So here is video shot at 2:30 in the morning with the Inspire 3. Now, I did denoise this a little bit, and I did work with it in post, and you'll have to watch the video to see what I did. But this is nuts. This is real-time video of the aurora. You can see Orion's belt there. You can see, I think that's Saturn, the planet there. I have a show for the aurora. Yes, Barkley. I have a show for the aurora borealis. That's right. I'm always a shill for Alaska. I think everybody should visit here at least once in their life. Let's see. Oh, did Gordon tell me how much? 2,500. Oh, you 2,500? 2,000 to 2,500, Gordon? That's a great budget. So for that, honestly, oh, thank you, D&D. I appreciate that for the super chat. Really, really appreciate it, actually, because I have spent a lot of money in gas in the last. So this trip, for anybody wondering, this trip to film the aurora, basically, I just had to go north because the weather and because the aurora displays. The farther north you go, the better chance you have of seeing them. This trip was 1,400 miles, and I drove up. I filmed this. I slept for 4 or 5 hours, and then I drove back down. So 13 hours of driving one way, and not just 13 hours of driving, but like 13 hours of driving way into the Arctic on a road that is not a heavily trafficked road, the haul road up to the North Slope. So, but it's a beautiful area. It was really cool to do. And yeah, I'm excited. You're on your way. Awesome, Barkley. Let me know when you get here. Okay, so Gordon, back to your question. So that, real quick, soapbox, like you can complain about everything you want to do, but there has not been an off-the-shelf drone package that can do that. Technically, I guess that's not an off-the-shelf drone package because I had to do some things to modify it a little bit to make it work. But, you'll have to watch the video to find out what those things were. But it's insane. Filming, and that wasn't even with a lot of moonlight. Like that was 48% illumination on the moon or 50% illumination on the moon. My goal, my ideal was to film that in full moon. The aurora would have looked a little bit less intense, but the landscape would have been much more illuminated, which would have been really cool, I think. But you'll see some full moon sample shots in the video that I have coming. It's nuts. I just don't understand why people are complaining so much about a drone that enables us to do so much, other than it's expensive. Barkley, thank you for the super chat. You and D&D, thank you both. Thank you very much. Okay, where's Gordon? 2,000 to 2,500. So Gordon, I would get either, if you do a little bit of videography and a little bit of photography, like you do both and you like to do both, I would get the A7C Mark II, which I think comes in right around $2,000, and then I mean, honestly, the Tamron 17 to 50 would be a great starter lens, all-in-one lens, because it gives you a nice focal range and it's pretty good. Otherwise, yeah, I mean, honestly, that's kind of where I would be there. Or I gotta see what else is in that price range. The ZV-E10 would be another good option, pretty good option. I think the A7C Mark II is right around $2,000. Okay. Oh, that's right. A7C Mark II. So, oh, it's 2,200. Well, let's see. Actually, with the kit lens, you come in right at 2,500, and that would be a great place to start. That's what I would do. Honestly, it takes great photos, great video. It's an insanely good handheld camera. Like the stabilization on it is really, really good, really shockingly good. So there, I think the ZVE. E1, I think that's in the same, yeah, that's in the same price range, so I probably wouldn't do that. The other option, if you want to save some money and still get a pretty good camera, is the Sony ZV-E10, and then you compare that either with the 18-105 kit lens from Sony, or probably what I would recommend more is the buy the Sony ZV-E10 and then get the Tamron, what is it, 16 to 50? 16 to 70 or 17 to 70? 16 to 70. No, 17 to 70. That's Tamron's APS-C lens, because that is an APS-C camera. It's a great little camera. And then you would have a really good setup to go there. Those would be my two recommendations. If you want to stay well under the $2,000 mark, then the Sony ZV-E10 with the Tamron 17 to 70, great combo. If you want to go right up to like the $2,500 mark, then I get the A7C Mark II with the kit lens, or if you can swing it or find a sale on the A7C Mark II, get the A7C Mark II and the Tamron 17 to 50. There you go. Those are my recommendations, Gordon. Hopefully that answered your question. Okay. If I missed, so I haven't looked at the chat in a bit. If I missed a question, please ask it again, and I'll try and catch up. Bob Casey. No, there is no night mode in the Inspire 3. That was ProRes RAW footage graded by me in the base ISO, 4,000 base ISO, or maybe I might have gone 6,400, which is the max ISO you can go on the Inspire 3. I'll have to look back and see, but it's mind-blowing. I couldn't do that with the Mavic 3 in night mode. Soaring Badger, where do you wish you could test the low light capabilities? And you can't say Iowa or Ohio. I would like to go back up to the Arctic, and you and I can test the low light abilities under the full moon up at Adigan Pass, or maybe farther north of there or something. So, not Iowa or Ohio, ideally, though. Oh, let's see. We have a super chat war. Hey, Michael Kozinski. You've been wondering, is it better to get the all-day 6-pack Freewell Mini 4 or the Mega 16-pack? Michael, I mean, you would be fine with the all-day 6-pack. Unless you want things like the ND 1000, 2000 for hyperlapses. If you do hyperlapse stuff, then definitely think about the Mega Pack. But I think you can also just purchase the individual filters from Freewell. So that, and then, yeah, that would be the main reason to get the Mega Pack. That, and it has a mist filter, which can be kind of cool. But those would be, that's what I would do. I would get the 6-pack and maybe just an ND 1000 or ND 2000. And then you bring up a great point, Michael. In the U.S., they are working on another DJI drone ban. They don't say it's a DJI drone ban, but basically they say it's any drone not manufactured in the U.S., which is almost all the drones. So, I mean, literally, it's Skydio is the one that manufactures drones here. So do with that what you will. But if you know your representative's office or find it out and send them an email, phone call, or whatever they're in Congress and tell them to, and Senate, and tell them to stop being so god dang stupid about this stuff, man. It's just, it's so irritating. So anyway, Paul, oh nice, that'd be awesome. Oh, in Sterling? Cool, right on. Yeah, Sterling's a cool spot. Glad to hear you indicated that APS-C cameras are still a viable option mostly. Oh, actually, Gordon, don't buy that camera just yet. Because if you're okay with an APS-C camera, I forgot about, don't get the ZV-10. Get the, let me see how much it is. The A6700, yes, that is what you should get. Get the Sony A6700 for right about $1,300, and then get the Tamron 17 to 50 with it. Amazing combo. You'll be super happy with that. It shoots great video, takes great photos. You get like everything. That is what I would do for your budget. A6700 and the Tamron 17 to 70. I mean, that would be a killer combo, to be honest. Absolutely great. So, D&D aerial, it's for federal government use? Yes, but if you look at it, it also includes states, like any states that used any federal funds or use any federal funds in their drone programs, includes them. And then it even trickles out farther than that for grants or anything like that. And my issue with it is this. Like, I don't have a problem saying, foreign-made drones can't be near, I don't want to say critical infrastructure, because they basically consider everything to be critical infrastructure now. Military bases, stuff like that. That's fine, in my opinion. The problem is that it never ends there. It never stops there. It always goes farther than that. And we know that Skydio is lobbying to increase it, because obviously it helps their bottom line if every state and federal agency in the U.S. has to buy their drones, which they can't even supply that much right now anyway. So I don't, but yeah, whatever. Anyway, so it just, I struggle with the blanket ban, and it's the whole thing was based on the Huawei, whatever phones that did have spyware on them. But it has been proven multiple times that DJI does not take the data. So now there is data being sent, and so you could argue that, I guess. And I mean, honestly, not a simple, probably a really expensive way for DJI to fix this is to set up, a U.S. customer data handling system here in the U.S. But yeah, I mean, DJI has repeatedly shown that they don't harvest data, especially if you tell them they can't or you don't want them to. It's irritating. And that's my issue with it, is that it never ends there. Like we always say, oh, it's just that, but it's just that, and then it's just that, and then it's just that, and pretty soon it's everything. And it's the incrementalism toward this stuff that really bugs me. And why are lawmakers underinformed? I think it's possible that lawmakers are the most out-of-touch people on the planet. I don't think any of them have a clue about how any of this stuff works in the real world. Listening to them question social media companies is like an expose on tell me you don't know how anything works like this, how the internet works, or email works for that matter, without telling me you don't know how any of that works. Like, I mean, even them trying to pronounce the words sometimes was a challenge. So, yeah. And so then what happens? In the U.S., then they're kind of getting their information from lobbyists. Because lobbyists know the products they're pushing. So, it just doesn't bode well for us, the consumers. And I honestly ban DJI. Let's say there's just a blanket ban on DJI for the entire U.S. I won't talk about weather balloons that floated over the U.S. for 2 weeks. But the issue is there is no other product on the market that can compete with DJI in terms of quality and price and capability. Especially in the consumer market. So if you blanket ban DJI, which I've no doubt a bunch of them would do if they could, you are putting tens of thousands of small businesses out immediately, which is tens of thousands, if not 100,000 or more people that immediately are out of work. And so, there is very large and far-reaching consequences to this type of stuff. And I have an issue with it because it's ill-informed and it's being pushed by people who have a vested interest in getting the products banned. Produce a better product. Everybody will be buying it. Yeah. So, and I'm not saying Skydio doesn't produce a great product. It's just now they don't produce anything for consumers. They basically just said F you to consumers and moved on. Sorry for the language. It does piss me off quite a bit because the consumers really helped get Skydio going, of which I was a part of because I bought a Skydio S2 and I loved it. It was a fantastic drone for what it did. And it had limits like anything else, but for what it did, it was great. But then for them to basically just go, yeah, we make a ton of money, a lot more money from the government, so we're just done with consumers. See ya. Whatever. Anyway. Exactly, Michael. That's a great point, too, is not only do you have all of these, states and local municipalities, police, fire, search and rescue, all that have purchased these drones that would have to essentially just throw them away. But it would seriously hamper people like for search and rescue, all of that. It would. Yeah. And you're right in that basically anybody who reads that is going to see China and national security and go, oh, I've got to vote for this. This is, we've got to do this. Without any real clear understanding of why. And so, I would encourage everybody to contact their representatives and let them know your thoughts. So, yes. Okay. Holy crap. Yeah, I guess that's 2 soapboxes for tonight. So I'm going to try and get off the soapboxes now. Craig G, what are my thoughts on audio music platforms? Epidemic Sound, Artlist, any cheaper options you would recommend? I haven't found any cheaper options, Craig. Audio has reached out to me once or twice. I haven't done anything with them yet. I probably could. Maybe I should. I don't know. I've listened to a lot of their music on their platform, and nothing's really grabbed me. MusicBed, I like MusicBed, but it's quite a bit more expensive. I like the music on MusicBed, though. Personally, for almost everything on this channel in the last 4 or 5 years, I've used Artlist, and I've been happy with Artlist. I like their licensing arrangement best. So that's kind of what I do. If you want free, then use the YouTube music library. That's the safest option for free, copyright-free music that won't get you in trouble. My cell phone is more quiet than my drone. Yeah, and like back in the early days of drones, the whole thing was, privacy and people spying on people and all that. And I just kind of was always like, we're all walking around with 4K cameras in our hands, like, and the amount of, cheap surveillance cameras that are out there that people have installed that can be easily hacked, like, or for that matter, the amount of cheap surveillance cameras that are out there that are made by companies in China that nobody's talking about the national security of those things. So, yeah. Bob Casey, I couldn't agree more. Let's see. Okay. That LiDAR, that's pretty penny. Oh, yeah, it is. Very pretty penny. That being said, I will have some like enterprise class drone reviews coming up and stuff. And one of them will be the new Skydio X10 eventually. Hey, Matthew. Agreed, Blue Planet Drone. It is a massively time-consuming thing, and that's why I start reusing music on my channel, because it's just like, anyway, so about once a month I go on Artlist and I go listen through all the new stuff that I would like, and grab whatever really hits me. So, Paul, yep, exactly. Bronx, do I have a ZVE1 video? I do, right? Don't I? I think I do. Let me see. Pretty sure I do. Let's see. My channel. I gotta remember how to go here. View my channel. Videos. Because I had I do have one. ZV-E1. Wait. Why is it not showing up? Oh, do it ZVE1 or ZV10? No, I do not have a ZVE1 yet because I haven't been able to get my hands on one yet. So, yeah. I do not have a ZVE1. I have a ZVE10, but not the ZVE1. But from what I've heard, that's a great camera, Brooks. Simply Scotland Photography, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. So in the last couple months, if you've noticed that I've been shifting the way I do reviews to be more story driven and still deliver the information, but in a much more hopefully fun to watch and engaging way. And so it's not all of them are that way. The review, the comparison videos are not necessarily that way, and the some of the other videos are not that way. But I'm trying to push more into the more story driven type content, because I feel like it's much, much, much more fun to watch. All right, Matthew Bowling, you got to chill or I'll have to time you out. Michael. Did I ever own a Sony a7 IV? I did. I do have a good setup video on that one, I think. Yeah. So the a7 IV long-term review. Do I not? Oh yeah, I also have a settings and setup. And I think on the settings and setup video, you can just go straight in, and I think I even gave you a download link to the file. I'll put the video in the chat here. So that's the video you want to watch. And I think you could download like my setup file and just upload it straight to your camera. So, hey, Tentos. Thank you. I appreciate that. KSA, I rarely have overheating issues with anything where I live because it's cold. Blue Planet Drone. Wait, did that not go through? That did go through, right? Why am I not seeing it on here? Anyway, whatever. Yeah. Upgrading to any of the new M3 Max. I've thought about it. Like, I have an M1 Max laptop that I would like to upgrade, but also, like, it's still really good. And I have this M2 Ultra Studio that's great. And yeah, so I don't know. I might The only thing that I would do is maybe later this year, because I will be traveling a bit next year to rural areas of Alaska, is I may take the 16-inch M1 Max MacBook Pro that I have and upgrade to a 14-inch M3 MacBook to get save a little weight and a little size for travel. That's the only, yeah. Anyway, yeah. Action 4 or Osmo Pocket. Let's see. I mean, honestly, I like the Pocket 3 best because it feels and looks more like a real camera. Plus, the low light is a lot better. But they both do look good. Obviously, very different uses, and so I would do, yeah. I mean, either one is going to be great, but I really like the Pocket 3. Thanks, Alaska Filmmaker, and I agree. I also enjoy, even though they're a lot more work, I also enjoy making them a lot more. So, Paul, you hit 100 subs. Congrats. Let's see. Shutter Speed Ireland. Hi. Hope you're doing well. Do I think DJI will slow down or keep its current pace in 2024? So I think that DJI, my guess is like they probably will release another mini drone in 2024. I bet they'll redo a FPV drone of some sort, like an FPV version 2 drone or the Avata version 2, or something else maybe entirely. I don't know. I think those will be the 2 drones that they would release in 2024. And then I think like the next things we'll see are like, probably a gimbal, Ronin, the RS like 4 series or something like that. And then maybe, the DJI Mic 2 came with the Pocket 3, so we know that that's somewhere out there. Probably they'll release the DJI Mic 2 system, where you have like the receiver and the little case. Be very curious to see that whenever it comes. Actually, super excited about that. And Rode is sending me a Wireless Go Pro, a Wireless Pro system, so I'll be doing a review on that pretty soon. Those typically get the least amount of views, those in lighting. But I think it is important to know, how to get good audio. So I'm trying to figure out a way to like wrap a good story around getting good audio with the Rode Wireless Pro. Blue Planet Drone. I agree. The 16-inch MacBook Pro is amazing. Mine's still kicking strong. It's great. The Apple Silicon it's an incredible system that just is. The performance is insane. When you walked up to yourself with timecode, it was so cool, Michael. Thank you. I appreciate it. That was super quick and dirty. And then the next shot where I show, and I've got a video coming with the RTK system and showing a couple of different versions of that, but me showing where I'm walking down the stairs and then it flips over and I'm walking along the side of the building and flips over and then I'm over at the other side. It's actually a lot more challenging than you think to put that stuff together, but it was fun. And so it was interesting. Yeah. Just picked up the Action 4 for the trip to Hawaii. Awesome, Kiss. That'll be great. Yeah, that'll be a great camera for that. Let's see. So you're trying to decide between the Sony ZV-1, A7 IV, have an A7 III right now. Would make sense to get the ZV-E1 for more video work, keep the A7 III for photo work. Oh. Honestly, unless you need the slow motion of 4K 120, I think I would get the A7 IV for video work. The A7 IV produces some fantastic video. So unless you need crazy insane low light, the A7 IV would be my choice out of the two. It does better for heating issues. It's really good battery life. And then you have one that will do both photo and video, and it's better photos than the A7 III. And then I would keep the A7 III as a backup B camera or just dedicated photo camera when you need to do video and photo at the same event and you're really quick swapping or something. I think that's what I would do personally. Yeah. Mini 4 standard and Avata 2 is your guess. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking too, Michael. Avata 2, some sort of FPV drone version 2, I think is what's coming. Eva, is it still worth it to buy the A7S III now amid Sony's new updates, or wait for the next version of the A7S IV? We don't know that there's going to be an A7S IV. There very well could be. I will definitely be buying it if it comes out because I love my A7S III. It's a fantastic camera. So I think, but honestly, I think with where stuff is right now, I would probably, yeah, if you're just going to do video work, I would probably get the ZVE1 for video work, but, you know, who knows when the A7S IV is going to come out. The ZVE1 or the A7S III would be great. The ZVE1, though, has the much better, newer autofocus system and focus breathing, which is going to be hard to beat. So that's kind of why I would lean that direction, personally. 10 toes. I always enjoy the gear stuff, but more videos when you share stories. Thanks. Oh, good. You're welcome, Gordon. I'm glad to hear that. Thank you. And did that help you, my advice on the A6700 with this Tamron 17 to 70? Like, that would be a great setup for stuff. So, yeah. Neiman, I have not. The 70 to 180 version 2, I have not tried yet. I've been working with the 17 to 50 that they just released, which I really like. That'll be coming soon, that video. But yeah. Action 4 Hero 12 for FPV. Alex, so it depends. Do you like to use real steady? Then I would probably go with the Hero 12. But other than that, I think I would go with the Action 4 if you're going to use gyro flow, which I kind of prefer over real steady now. It's a little better. And the Action 4 is a little wider field of view, which is kind of nice. So yeah, I think that's where I would go, Alex, personally. So. Oh, and if you want like more latitude in grading with the D-Log M. If you just want normal colors, then either one will do great. Yeah, I think it's 6 1/2 dozen, really, 50-50. Sibley Scotland photography. The helicopter plane shot was outstanding. Sorry, I forgot the pilot's name. She is superb. Does she have a channel? She does, Simply, and I linked it in the description of that video. But her name is Heli Pilot Lee on Instagram, and I think on YouTube as well. Lee, she is a phenomenal helicopter pilot. I mean, not just in the fact that she's incredibly skilled and a very talented helicopter pilot, but she is also what I didn't realize until we were doing the handheld Inspire 3 stuff out of the helicopter was how quickly and intuitively she grasped the kind of shots we could get and was directing where the airplane should be and where the helicopter should be, like, without even having to communicate it. And that's a really different skill that, like, you can be a great helicopter pilot and not have any idea about that stuff. So the fact that when we were doing that, she was kind of telling the airplane where to go and then moving the helicopter where it needed to be was really, really fun. And not only is she really skilled and talented and all that, but she's just a blast to work with. I've not met many pilots that are like, what can we try to make something awesome? Like that, especially when working with drones and aircraft together. That's a very sensitive subject. So she and her husband both are amazing, and they're a blast to work with. Paul, that Canon RF 24 to 105 f2.8. I hope that Sony's watching that going, crap, we got to make one of those because I will buy it tomorrow if they produce one of those. That looks like an insanely awesome lens by Canon, and I'm really jealous. Don't be sorry. It's a great move on Canon's part. That is going to be a fantastic lens from what I've seen. Let's see. Are you using the Pocket 3 as a webcam this week by chance, Michael? I am not. My Pocket 3 is not here right now, so I'm not using it as a webcam. But yeah. Let's see. R1 is everything and more you've seen. Yeah. Honestly, I hope Canon keeps pushing too. Their first mirrorless offerings were good, but they definitely had some growing pains. But I'm excited to see them progressing because, yeah, I used to be a Canon shooter. I was a Canon shooter for decades. I loved Canon, and then they just kept nerfing their video modes, and I was doing more and more video work, and then finally I was like, I can't do this. Like, I don't want to buy 3 camera bodies. I want one camera body I can take with me, and Sony dropped the A7 III, and I was like, okay, there it is. 4K video, great photos, super small, lightweight body. Yeah. And I haven't looked back since. So, although I did, before Sony released the A7S III, which is what I'm using right now, the R5, I was like, okay, Sony, if you don't release something just killer with the A7S III, rumored A7S III, I'm like, I'm probably going back to Canon. It's going to hurt because I have a lot of Sony lenses that I would have to get rid of and sell. But yeah, then the rest is history. So, but the R5 and the RF glass is phenomenal. They're really doing a great job there. So, let's see. Enjoying Alaska footage of your videos. Blue Planet. I would like to get more wildlife stuff. I have to be careful with drones and wildlife, but I do plan on like the camera stuff because I'm going to be transitioning back to like more camera stuff now, with drone stuff mixed in. I will be trying to include more wildlife in that stuff. Yeah. Ryan Sloan, what's my editing routine look like? No routine. You're struggling to find a routine. Sorry if you answered this 1,000 times or 100 times. No, actually, nobody's asked that before. So typically, like, I will go out and shoot, and then I'll come back, dump everything on my NAS drives, server basically, and then usually wait a day or two, and then come back and start editing it. And then pretty much I try and dedicate one whole day to editing, where I just am sitting here editing, and then depending on the like intensity of the video, I might take a day or two off again and come back with fresh eyes and just kind of review it. On days where I have other work, like client work, stuff like that, or it's been a busy week with other projects and I don't have the same amount of time, then typically I'll get up at 4 in the morning or 4:35 in the morning and come down here and edit for 2 to 3 hours, and then go to work for the client project, whatever I'm working on that day. And that way it doesn't take time away from the family, like editing at night. Sometimes if I'm on a deadline, I will edit at night after dinner, but generally my best time, my most productive time is in the morning. I'm a morning person. That's when I'm the most like with it and creative and alert. And so by the time the afternoon, evening rolls around, I start fading pretty fast. Maybe I should be doing a live stream at this time of day because it's very, I might be just, half the energy I would be when I'm in the morning. So anyway, let's see. Okay, there. Brooks Mayer, what is my webcam? Right now I'm using a Sony A7S III and a 24mm G Master lens. KSA, your hero bought the Hero 12, or your friend bought the Hero 12 today, then shared a comparison video of the Action 4 with the Action 12. He regrets buying the Hero 12. The Hero 12 is not a bad camera. It's not. I do think that DJI GoPro needs to innovate. They need to get back to their roots and innovate. They defined the category of action cameras, and they kind of sat on their laurels and just have done iterations and, small improvements. The Hero 12, I think, is the biggest, smallest improvements that they've made, where it's like, okay, so you took the Hero 11 and you just tweaked it, and that's it. So I think they need to push themselves to do better. Yeah. Shutter speed. When you get your helicopter license, you need to get the new Hill HX50. Oh, shutter speed. That helicopter looks amazing, and I would love to own one of those. It's such a beautiful aircraft. Yeah, I follow them on Instagram, and every time they put out an update, I'm just like, good Lord, that helicopter is so beautiful. Also, I need to get a much more booming YouTube channel so that I could afford one of them, but I would love one of those helicopters. They're incredibly beautiful and well done. Ryan Sloan, A9 Mark III, thoughts? So I did share a little bit earlier on, but that is an insanely powerful camera if you need that sort of speed, and if you need some of the other features, the global shutter. So for me, the A1 is still a slightly better fit in most ways, except for one, maybe two. And the two would be wildlife, high-speed stuff with wildlife, birds, whales jumping out of the water, all that. That sort of the 1 second, pre-mode is that would be amazing for wildlife stuff. And the global shutter. The reason the global shutter is important is when I'm doing stuff with helicopters, airplanes, anything like that, and you're moving fast, you definitely start to see the shutter issues come up. But the global shutter with the A9 would fix that no problem. Other than that, I don't really see the need to get one, other than I just really want one because it looks amazing. But I do, like for me, for most of what I do, having the 8K footage of the A1 is really nice. 30 frames a second is fast enough for anything I've done. For photo work, and then 4K 120. The other thing that would have probably maybe pushed me over the edge to sell my A1 and get an A9 Mark III would have been if they had been able to put 4K 240 frames in it. I probably would have done it then. 240 frames is so beautiful for slowing stuff down. Like that is the sweet spot for really fast moving subjects. Is 240 frames a second is really great. So yeah, crazy powerful camera. I'm really, really excited to see what Sony's going to do in the next A7S 3 or A7S 4 and the A1 Mark II, which I think should be the next two cameras that are coming. So yeah, what time is it? Oh, I got 4 more minutes on the stream. When you get your... Oh, we got that. All right, Alaska Filmer. Don't let me block my driveway. Yeah, no kidding. Supplements AG1 or anything like that to maintain my energy, Paul? No, I do take vitamins, and I do try and exercise regularly, and that all helps. I am trying to lose a little bit of weight because, I feel more comfortable when I'm about 20 pounds lighter than I am. So, yeah. Jackson's Drones, you crashed your DJI Mavic Mini 3 today. Dang, a little banged up. Do you know if the stealth propellers are any good, or should you just stick with the DJI Mini Pro? Honestly, I think it's like 6 and 1/2 dozen. I don't see a huge improvement on the stealth propellers. Honestly, not a massive difference in sound, not a massive difference in performance. So if you got the DJI ones, I would go that route. If you don't, then yeah. There you go. Look, Mama Drone, the helicopter Diesel brother owned, the Black Hawk. Or the Dolphin. Yeah, those are spandy helicopters. I would need a YouTube channel times 10 of what I'm doing now with everybody who's subscribed watching every video I ever put out to afford a Black Hawk or a... Dolphins are... They're not inexpensive, but they're not anywhere near a Black Hawk. So, let's see. Sam Marcus, probably not as good for video compared to others. 250 base ISO and no dual gain. Dynamic range will not be as good. Sam, that's a great point, Sam. Not having any dual gain ISO, or at least that we know of. I mean, Sony doesn't say the A7S III has a dual gain ISO, but clearly something happens at 12,800. And the same thing happens with the A1. Like there's a second higher base that gets cleaner for some reason. But I am curious to see the dynamic range of that camera and that new sensor. It'll be really interesting to see when tests start coming out with that thing. And yeah, it's not a video camera. It's a photo camera. It's built for just insanely high-speed photos. Sports, wildlife stuff. That is what that camera is built for. I'm curious to see the low light ability on it too. That 24-megapixel sensor. It could be good. It could also not be good. The A9 Mark II had pretty good low light performance of the 20-megapixel sensor it had. So I'm curious to see. The A9 Mark III price, Ryan, is $6,000. Cha-ching. All right, Raymond, thanks for being here. Blackhawks are 2-pilot? Yeah, exactly. So my buddy Keith would have to get his helicopter license as well, because we both have to be certified on it to fly it. It's a 2-pilot aircraft. Or my friend Lee. She probably wouldn't mind if I owned a Blackhawk and she'd get to fly it with me. So, you bet. Got the Tamron 70-180. Loving it. Probably one of your favorite lenses. Naaman, it's a great, great, great lens. Tamron did a really good job with that. For Squadron? Yes, they could. I'm sure they could. Yeah. Brian, have you ever tried Fujifilm? Like I did back in film days. I loved Fujifilm film. It's a beautiful film. They do great colors. The cameras I haven't messed with much. I would like to, because they do just get great colors straight out of camera, and hardly anybody talks about them. But I need them to like work with me on sending me cameras, and I would be happy to do that. Olympics, they announced it now. Exactly, Sam. They 100%, Sony was looking at the Olympics coming up going, we need to, because the A9 Mark I, I think that was the original, like, insanely mind-blowing high-speed sports photography camera that came out. And so, smart move on Sony's part. Very, very smart move. It's insane. Okay, so my first thought when they announced the A9 Mark III was, so technically now I can go into a national park and take photos at 120 frames a second and then put it together to be a video. It's 4K 120, but it's not video. It was photos. So, which also points out the stupid ludicrousness of the rule of national parks and filming and all that. Yeah. So, there we go. Simply Scotland. Smart move. An Action 4 would be a much better move for you. And please put a screen protector on it. Paul, oh, you got the X-T4? I really do like their colors. Straight out of camera, Fujifilm has some great, great colors. Brian, well, no, you are allowed to film and you are allowed to take photos. But if you post that video on a site where it's monetized, that is considered commercial filming, and you need a permit for that. You need to apply for the permit minimum of 30 days in advance. You pay a fee, which is like $150, and you need to pick your dates and all that. So for me up here, whether, I don't know what the weather's going to be 10 days out, let alone 30 days out. So me going, I want to go film in this national park. Here's my permit fees. And then if the weather is just terrible that day, well, sorry. But you can go and do photos without a permit. Like, to me, it's going, look, if I'm going to have no more impact than any other person walking around the park, enjoying the national park, then why not allow me to do that without a permit? Or come up with, this is soapbox number 3, you guys. We're going to do this and I'm going to wrap the stream up. Or come up with a yearly use fee for people like me who are solo operators. We don't operate crews, sets, anything like that. We pay $300 a year to be able to go film in national parks. That would make more sense to me than this just ridiculous system we've got right now is stupid. So, exactly, Sam. Yeah, Jevin and I have talked about it often and a lot. Hey, Jake, not from State Farm. The 120 of the 8 is it backs over 2 seconds? Yeah, that's the only problem. You get 2 second video clips. I can do a lot with 2 second video clips. Because not only that, but then you're slowing it down to match 30 frames a second, so that 2 seconds becomes 8 seconds. That's really all you need. 8 second video clips. Exactly, Michael. Exactly. All right, folks, I'm going to wrap the stream up. As far as I know, I will be back same time, same place next week. As far as I know, although last week I thought I was going to be back same time, same place next week, and I was not. I was not here. I was here. I just wasn't here, and I couldn't stream where I was. So, thank you all for being part of the channel. Thank you for joining me here tonight. I really appreciate it. More Inspire 3 videos coming. I think I have a Pocket 3 setup and settings video coming. And and then especially the Inspire 3 low light videos coming. Those are kind of the next ones. And then probably going to take a little break from all of the drone stuff that I've been doing and go back into cameras and lenses, because I want to do the A6700. I want to do the FX30. I want to do the A7C Mark II. And then if I ever get my hands on the A9 Mark III, I'll definitely be doing that. And then Tamron's released a new lens that I've been working with. Laowa sent me a new-ish lens that I'm going to do some work with. and Rode Wireless Go. So it'll be more like general filmmaking, stuff like that. But hopefully you will enjoy the story and the visuals of it when I put those videos out, even if you're like a massive drone fan and that's what you're here for, which I understand a lot of people on my channel are here for drones. So I get it. You'll see some drone footage of those things as well. So anyway, thank you all for being part of the channel, for super chats, for watching the videos, all of that. I deeply appreciate you being part of this community of solo creators. So until next time, be safe, be smart. I'll see you again soon in the next video. Cheers, everybody.